Okay, good morning. Am I audible? Is it visible properly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So today also we will going on to continue with our previous topic, and that is common source MOSFET amplifier, right? Last time already we discussed about its working, and the first parameter that also we studied, and that is nothing but gain of this amplifier, right? One more thing you might have observed, you might have learned during our previous session, and that is nothing but there is 180-degree phase shift between applied input time varying signal and the obtained output time varying signal. Are you agree with this? Whenever,
Yes.
whenever there was positive going from the input side, the obtained output was negative, and that's why we are saying there is a 180-degree phase shift. In case of BJT amplifier with common emitter configuration, the same thing you might have learned. In case of CE configuration for BJT, there is 180-degree phase shift, and for remaining two, that is common base and common collector, there is no phase shift, or we can say 0-degree phase shift, or we can say output follows the input. That means whenever input will be positive, output also will be positive. But for which configurations? That is for CC and CV configuration in case of BJT. Similarly, in case of FET family, or over here for this MOSFET, again remember only for common source configuration there is 180-degree phase shift, and for remaining two, that is common gate or common drain, there is no phase shift or 0-degree phase shift, right? So exactly how that phase shift occurs, that today I will try to show you by graphical presentation as well as by mathematical also. We'll try to observe it. Okay. So here, first of all, I will show the DC load lines and obtain input and applied input and the obtain output signal by that graphical presentation. So try to learn it again. This will be in between VDS, that is voltage between drain to source, versus drain current, that is output characteristic of that MOSFET, or the same again you can observe by using the transfer characteristic also. Okay. So I will try to show here again that DC load line, to which you are now also well familiar. This is the maximum obtained output voltage, that is VDS, and that will be equals to VDD. That means the MOSFET will be going to work into its cutoff region, or it will be going to act as a open circuit, right? Similarly, this is nothing but our ID max, and that is nothing but again VDD by RD. The externally connected resistor RD, it will go on to limit the maximum drain current, okay, to protect the transistor. Otherwise, if excess current flows to the transistor, that transistor may get damaged. And that's why the resistance RD is used. Now, as per our previous consideration, I will go on to select that operating point again at the center of this DC load line. Today we will see why we are saying that operating point, it should be exactly at the center of that load line, as well as we will go on to observe the phase shift between applied input and the obtained output signal, right? Okay, so we are already familiar. This region, it is known as a ohmic region. That means the voltage drop across that transistor, it is very, very small, and that's why we are expecting that transistor, it should going on to operate within its saturation region, or we can call this region as an amplifier region, right? Now, I will show here that previous our applied input signal, I think we consider 100 millivolt peak. Am I right? I think it is 100 millivolt, or we can say 200 millivolt peak to peak. Okay. So the same signal I will try to show over here. This is nothing but our input, V in. Again, don't get confused between V in and VDD. Don't call that VDD as the input. VDD is a DC source for the operation of this amplifier circuit, or for the powering of this amplifier circuit. This is nothing but our input, sine wave, right? Which we have to amplify by using this amplifier. So how it will be going to amplify? that also. Today I will try to explain you. Again, I will just going on to draw only a single VGS, and this is nothing but our VGS_Q. Are you getting it? Am I audible now properly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think as per our, we'll take our actual practical example. This use VDD was 10 volt. This RD was I think 1.8K. This RS it was 470 ohms. Then this R2, how much it was? 2.7 mega, na? 2.5 mega. I think it is 2.7 mega ohm, and this R1 is 10 mega ohm. Correct? This applied input we consider V in as 100 millivolt peak with 1 kilohertz frequency, right? The CI&CO will consider 0.1 microfarad as the input coupling capacitor, output coupling capacitor again 0.1 microfarad, and this bypass capacitor I will take here 220 microfarad. This RL you can take it as 10K also. No issue about this RL. You can keep it open also. No need to connect that RL. Then also you can observe the signal, right? So as per our that previous analysis, how much was the value of this VGS_Q? I think it was 1.1 volts. Are you agree with this? VGS_Q. VG was 2 volts. VS, it was, I think, 0.94 volts. That is the drop across this RS. And by that, the set VGS, that is voltage at the gate with respect to source. That is VG minus VS, and it was 1.1 volt. Yes or no? So whenever we will go on to apply that input signal, or whenever we will go on to bias this transistor by using R1 and R2 for the set values, then the set value of that Christian gate to source voltage, it is 1.1 volt. That means we can say our transistor is working at the center of that load line, and the obtained output voltage, that is VDS, it will be VDS_Q. Later on, what we are doing, we are applying the input, and that input voltage, it gets overlapped at this node where that 2 volt fixed DC voltage is already available by this R1 and R2. 2 volt at 2.1 volt something, it was there, right? Today our practical session, we will go on to observe all these things. Okay, how this circuit is working as an amplifier. Okay, so again, don't miss our today's session also. Okay, practical session. So at this node, last time already I explained how that input signal will go on to affect the voltage level at the gate terminal. Whenever there is a positive half cycle, then that voltage level it gets increased, right now from 2 volt to 2.1 volts. And whenever there is negative half cycle and at its peak, now that 2 volt fixed voltage it goes to 1.9, right now. So last time the conclusion was by applying this input voltage, time varying input voltage, the VG it becomes time varying, correct now, but do not AC, remember, because that VG never goes to 0. Last time already I explained in detail, so we are not going to again revise it. So see, graphically, whenever that input signal is at 0 potential, right, the obtained VDS is how much? It is VDS_Q. Or we can say it will be a DC voltage, constant voltage, when that input is at 0 potential. Now, consider the first positive half cycle of that input signal and its peak value. So whenever that input signal will reach to its peak value, what happens with the gate voltage? Gate voltage gets increased from its fixed value, that is 2 volts to 2.1 volts, right now. That means we can say this operating point, it will get shifted from its center to over here. We'll call that shifted operating point as a Q dash, right? Now, just find out how much will be the output voltage with respect to that Q dash. That means whenever that input signal will go to its positive peak, right? So that Q will get shifted to Q dash as shown. And just plot its respective output voltage. It will get shifted over here. Correct. Now consider or just observe, we'll take that reference line, or we can call it as the x-axis for VDS at VDS cube. Okay. Now we have to show the input output signal waveform, and that's why what I will do, I will just try to plot the waveform for this VDS. So see what is happening when that input is going towards its peak value, that operating point is also gets shifted from Q, that is center point, to Q dash, and hence this VDS, it gets shifted over here. This is nothing but our VDS dash, is it? From VDS Q to VDS dash. So again, from whenever that input is from peak to 0, again that operating point will get shifted reverse to its original value, that is Q. So that Q dash, it will get shifted to Q again during positive peak to 0, right? And hence you will observe the change in output voltage, it will be like this. Agree? With the same time period, I will just try to show that time period also equal, that output obtained voltage, it will be like this. Now, during the negative half of that input, see, whenever that input signal will go to its negative peak, that means over here, the respective point on that DC load line, it will get shifted from Q to Q double dash. Is it visible properly? Am I audible properly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So whenever that input will go to negative peak, what will be the effect on net gate voltage? That net gate voltage, it gets reduced. That means graphically here you can observe that Q point from its center on the DC load line, it will get shifted to Q double dash respective to negative peak. Is it visible now properly? Whatever I am showing, how it gets shifted over here, right? Now observe the effect on VDS respective to that Q double dash. You will observe that VDS, it will get increased, or it will get increased towards VDD, correct now? That means that operating point will get shifted like this, and hence the net output voltage will look like this. So just check these two waveforms. What is happening? When there is positive going for the input signal, output obtained is negative. And whenever that input is negative, obtained output goes to positive. And that's why we can say there is a 180-degree phase shift between applied input and the obtained output voltage. Both are voltage signals. In case of BJT, it is a base current in CE configuration. Correct now? This waveform is for base current, because BJT, it is a current control device, while our FET, it is voltage control device, and that's why we are calling this one as a voltage signal, not a current signal, right? And the obtained output, that is again voltage. Are you getting it? Now the same thing you can observe for change in current also. See, respective to that Q point, obtain output current, that will be IDQ. This is nothing but Christian drain current. Already we discussed. During positive half, that drain current also gets increased. Are you agree with this? Whenever input voltage increases from that fixed VG, that is 2 volts, and when input goes to its peak, that is 100 millivolt peak, then that net gate voltage, that is VG, it becomes 2.1. Correct now? Last time, already we discussed on that, right? So what is the effect on ID? ID also gets increased. So you will observe that IDQ, it will get shifted from here, its percent level, somewhat towards ID max. Correct? So again, we can plot that drain current waveform also by considering this one as my reference line, and so see, during positive half of input, as drain current increases, that means we can say there is 0-degree phase shift between input voltage and output current. Our output current is directly proportional to input voltage, and that's why there is 0-degree phase shift between input voltage and output current. This is nothing but our ID max. Here you will get maximum drain current by the application of this applied input signal. And similarly, during negative half, as that 2 point gets shifted from Q to Q double dash, you will observe its respective value of ID like this. That means there will be again negative half. Both will be in phase, input voltage and output current. This is nothing but ID mean, right? And whenever input is at zero level, that means whenever that V in is at zero level, how much will be the value of output current? Just try to recall it. Whenever input signal is at zero level, how much is the value of output current? This one. No? A large gap between two lectures. That's why. Whenever input signal is at zero level, my question is, how much will be the value of ID, drain current?
0.
0.
Zero? Yeah, IDQ. Whenever input signal is at zero level, how much is the value of ID, drain current? 0 or IDQ?
IDQ.
It will be IDQ, don't say 0. And the same thing you will observe over here also. See, this line is not 0 line. This is IDQ line. Correct now? Whenever that input is applied, then that fixed line it gets into time varying. Right? So this is not a 0 line. Remember. So the drain current waveform, it becomes time varying. It never goes to 0. When it will goes to 0, when this waveform will get extended up to over here. That is on x-axis. Are you getting it? Then and then it will become 0. Okay. Now, the question is, how much peak amplitude of input signal we can apply this amplifier so that it can provide us without any, we can say, or that output, it will be able to follow the input in terms of magnitude and gain times. Okay. So you will observe, suppose I applied that input signal somewhat like this. That means I will be able to increase its amplitude like this. Okay. And similarly, during negative half, I will consider that cutoff region and it will be again somewhat like this. Okay. Are you getting it? How much I extended the amplitude of that input signal? Original our first input signal was this much peak to peak amplitude. Now I increase its amplitude. Right now, it will get extended like this. Right. And the respective obtained output voltage that also will get extended somewhat like this. Agree? Suppose this is of, we can say, 300 millivolt peak. Just example, huh? My previous first waveform was 100 millivolt peak. Now what I done, I increased it to 300 millivolt peak. Correct. The obtained output voltage is without any clipping. That output follows the input. It looks like a sine wave. There is no any clipping to its positive as well as negative half cycles. That is for output signal. Correct. Right. If I again increase this input signal beyond 300 millivolt, suppose it is of 400 millivolt, what will be going to happen? Just imagine. See, in second case, that operating point, it will get shifted from Q dash to up to over here. Correct now? Because this much is my peak positive voltage. Right. Similarly, during negative peak, that operating point Q from its center, it will get shifted up to x-axis, right, or on x-axis. Next condition is what? I will again going on to increase that input from 300 millivolts to suppose 400 millivolts. So see, I will just again try to draw that 400 millivolt waveform like this. Similarly, during negative peak, again it will be of 400 millivolts. Right now, this is my third waveform. This is of 400 millivolt peak. Are you getting the difference between that three inputs, three various level inputs? First of all, how much we consider? We consider only 100 millivolt. We observe that operating point it gets shifted from Q to Q dash, and during negative half from Q to Q double dash. If we increase that input in terms of amplitude from 100 milli to 300 milli, and what I observed, that operating point is shifted from its center up to the ohmic region, right? And during negative half, that operating point is shifted from its center to the cutoff region or up to the cutoff region. That means that input signal completely occupies that amplification region or that saturation region, right? And that's why without any clipping, we are getting this much as the maximum output voltage. Now, third condition we will go on to consider, that is, if again I increase that input from 300 milli to 400 milli. So see, you can observe here this much part of that input signal, or during this much part of that input signal, that is beyond 300 millivolts, that transistor, it gets enter into which region? It gets enter into, see, this region, above this point. That transistor will go on to enter into ohmic region. And in ohmic region, it will go on to act somewhat like a short circuit or zero resistive device, somewhat, right? And its effect will be, see, you will go on to observe now that third waveform somewhat like this. There will be a constant voltage drop across that transistor, which is known as a clipping. And again, we'll come back to its original position. Okay. And during negative half, again, you will observe this much part of that input signal, that is of 400 millivolt signal. During this much part of input, that transistor will go on to enter into which region? Cutoff region. Is it? Cutoff region means what? That transistor will go on to act as a open circuit. And when that transistor will go on to act as open circuit, how much will be the voltage across it? That will be equals to VDD. Across open switch, the voltage is equals to applied voltage, DC voltage, right? And that is nothing but VDD. So the same thing you will observe in this case. See, during negative half of input, up to over here, output will follow the input, correct? But later on, that input is still increasing, but transistor gets turned off, and hence the voltage drop across that transistor, it will be a straight line. Clipping will be there, and that will be equals to, that is VDS equals to VDD as a fixed voltage, and again later on it will be going to follow the input. So see what is happening in this case. If you are not getting it properly, I will just remove that first two conditions, and then you can observe the signal. Right? So what nature of output we are getting? That output gets clip off from both sides, right now. Or this much information of that input signal, it gets lost. It do not get amplified, because that transistor, during positive half of that large input signal, that transistor enters into its ohmic region, and during negative half of input, that transistor enters into its cutoff region. Whenever transistor enters into its ohmic region, it acts as a somewhat or almost zero resistive path, and hence drop across that transistor, it is almost 0 volts. See, it will be closer to that zero origin, right? And during negative half of input, large input, that operating point will get shifted from its center up to x-axis, but still that input is increasing. Right now, this much part or this much information of that input signal. During that period, transistor remains into its cutoff region. It acts as an open circuit. And whenever it will act as an open circuit, then how much will be the voltage across it? That will be equals to applied voltage. That is VDD, right? And hence, the same clipping I shown here. Is it? So, to have a satisfactory output, that means purely sine wave, how much should be my input max in this example? How much input signal maximum I can apply so that I can obtain undistorted output or without clip output or pure sine wave as output. This is not a pure sine wave, it is a clip signal, right? But previous two conditions, that is whenever that input was 100 milli as well as when that input was 300 millivolt peak, whatever output we obtained, that was without any clipping, without any distortion, right now. Or we can say that obtained output is pure sine wave, is it? Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So see, simple question now I will going to ask in this example or whatever discussion we done, how much input, maximum input, that is Vin, that is sine wave and its amplitude, maximum, how much I can apply so that we can obtain the output without clipping.
300 millivolts.
Yes, very nice. So this is the limitation of this amplifier, correct now? So see, last time we determined first parameter and that was gain of this amplifier. How much was that gain? I think it was 30. If you have that previous discussion notes, just let me know how much was the gain of that amplifier, the same amplifier that we define that AV equals to VO by V in, and I think it was 30. Is it 30 or 20? Just check
30,
it.
sir.
30, okay. So see, whenever I will be able to apply input as a 100 millivolt, now consider this amplifier as just a box. Okay, I will be able to apply input, suppose 100 millivolt peak. As I know the gain of this box, the gain of this amplifier is 30, means what? Whatever input I will be able to apply, it will be able to amplify it by 30 times and will provide the output, right? So if my input is 100 millivolt peak, how much will be the peak output voltage? It will be 30 times. Are you agree with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If I increase this input from 100 milli to 300 milli, how much will be the output voltage? It will be again 30 times because that gain remains constant. We are changing only the amplitude of that input signal. So whatever input signal I will be going to apply to this amplifier, it will be going to amplify it 30 times and will provide the output, right? So when 100 millivolt peak, output will be 100 millivolt peak into 30. Whenever input will be 300 millivolt peak, output will be 300 millivolt into 30 as a peak voltage, correct? And if my input is 400 millivolt peak, how much will be the output? Maximum output. It will remain 300 milli into 30. Are you getting it? Even if I increase that input signal, because what happens whenever we are increasing that input signal beyond its maximum handling capacity, that transistor will be able to enter into ohmic region during positive half of input and will be able to enter into cutoff region during negative half of input. And there will be a clipping. That means maximum obtained output voltage will be this much. So see, whenever it was 300 milli, at that time also we got that peak voltage like this. And whenever that input is 400 milli, still we are getting that peak to peak output only 300 milli into 30 times. Is it? But what is the disadvantage of that large input? Clipping occurs from both sides. Are you getting it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we will switch why we are expecting that operating point, it should be exactly at the center of that load line. Instead of that, or we can say if it is not at the center, what will be going to happen? Okay. So suppose instead of keeping that operating point at the center, or by our previous example, how much was the value of Vg? It was 2 volts, correct now? By selecting R1 and R2 with this VDD of 10 volts. Instead of that Vg equals to 2 volts, if, this is our first case, if that Vg is equals to 2.5, that means the value of this resistor R2, I think it is not 2.7, it was 2.5 mega. To have that Vg equals to 2 volts. Okay. Now, instead of selecting this R2 as 2.5 mega, if I selected it to suppose 3 mega ohm, now you can calculate, right? To have this node voltage as a 2.5 volts, how much should be the value of R2? By again applying voltage divider rule, that Vg equals to VDD into R2 divided by R1 plus R2, right? Now instead of that Vg as a 2 volts, how much we require? Suppose it is 2.5 equals to VDD. I will keep that VDD, as 10 volts into R2. I want to observe the change in this R2 divided by R1, that is of again same, that is 10 mega plus R2. Calculate the value of R2 fast. Do it. Do this calculation. 2.5, that is my second requirement of that gate voltage. Instead of 2, right now. To have that operating point exactly at the center, we consider that Vg equals to 2 volt, and accordingly we selected the value of that Rs, so that Vgs, it is in such a way that that operating point it remains at the center of that load line. Okay. Now find out the value of that R2, so that Vg instead of 2 volts, it will be of 2.5. So how much it is?
3.3.
3.3 mega, right? So what I will do, I will use here this R2 as 3.3 mega ohm, right? Our Rs is fixed, and that's why whatever Vs will be there, that is of 0.94, as per our previous calculation, it will remain same. Okay. Vgs will get changed. Agree with this? Now, how much will be the new value of Vgs? Vgs is nothing but Vg minus Vs. Vg is 2.5 minus Vs is 0.94. So, how much is the value of Vgs? Calculate it. .5 minus
1.56.
1.56. Is it correct?
Yes.
So see, whenever we are expecting that operating point at the center, our VGS requirement was 1.1 volts, right? And now what we done, we increase the value of this R2 so that that operating point it gets shifted. It will not going to remain now at the center of that load line, right? VGS is 1.5. So my new curve, it will be somewhat like this. Are you agree with this? This VGS is now 1.5 volts. That means operating point is shifted now over here. It do not remain at the center. Correct? Now again apply the input. If I apply that input signal of 100 millivolts peak like this, Now check the output voltage by applying this input of 100 milli. Suppose this is of 100 millivolt peak. During positive half of input, our Q point will get shifted from this point Q to Q dash over here. And during negative half of input, it will get shifted from Q to Q double dash. So that the newly obtained output voltage will be, or it will be going to follow the input with the fixed gain. And this is nothing but our output voltage. Agree? Are you agree with this? It is same as that of our previous discussion. Only what change we done? We only shifted that operating point from center towards the ohmic region by increasing VGS. Or how that VGS is increased? By increasing that VG. Or how that VG is increased? By increasing the value of this R2. Are you getting it up to over here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, same as that of our previous discussion, instead of 100 milli, try to apply 300 millivolt peak signal. Right? 300 millivolt means what? Somewhat greater than this one. That means I will go on to apply that 300 millivolt signal like this. Okay. Now see what will happen. Consider second signal. Huh? Now that operating point from this selected one will get shifted up to Q dash, that is as that of previous case, and later on this much positive part of that input signal, it will go on to force that transistor into its ohmic region. While during negative half, it will get shifted without any problem. It will be over here, right? And hence, the obtained output will be, you will observe that newly obtained output signal and its nature like this. Later on, it will remain saturated. That means constant DC voltage almost 0 volts. And during negative half, there will be no clipping. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
During positive half of input only, as the transistor gets forced into its ohmic region, and that's why drop across the transistor is almost closer to 0 volts. It remains constant. That means there will be a clipping. This much part of that input signal, or this much information of that input signal, it gets lost, right? While during negative half, there is no any issue because that transistor still it remains into its amplification region or amplifier region or in that saturation region. So there will be no problem with the negative half, and hence the obtained positive half, as it is 180 degree phase shifted, obtained positive half will be without any clipping. While during positive half of input, whatever negative half we will obtain, there will be a clipping. This much part of the input signal it will get lost because transistor will be able to enter into its ohmic region. Right? Now, what is the limitation? See, in previous case, whenever we set that operating point exactly at the center, what we concluded, we can amplify input signal maximum up to 300 millivolts. Right? And later on there is clipping. In this case, we can amplify only up to 100 millivolts. And later on, there will be a clipping of positive half cycles of input to obtain that negative half of output. Are you getting it? So what is the limitation of this circuit now? It can amplify only maximum 100 millivolt signal. Are you getting it? While our first example, we can amplify up to 300 millivolts peak. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly, suppose I selected that operating point, again, not exactly at the center, but below the center. That means my VGS is not equals to 1.1 volts, it is less than 1.1. That means if the selected value of this R2, it is less than 2.5 mega. Whenever it will be 2.5 mega, VG will be 2. Whenever it will be 3.3 mega, that VG is 2.5. That means the VG it is directly proportional to value of R2 because remaining we kept constant, that is VG and R1. Right. So instead of that R2 as 2.5 mega, if I selected it 2 mega, what will be the effect on VG or what will be the effect on VR2? Will it remain as 2 volts or will it be greater than 2 volts or will it be less than 2 volts? First, see, when that R2 was equals to 2.5 mega, how much was the value of VG? That was equals to 2 volts, right now. And then we are saying that operating point is at the center. In second condition, what we done? We increase the value of that R2 from 2.5 to 3.3 mega. What was the effect on VG? VG becomes 2.5. That means VGS becomes greater than 1.1. And the same curve I shown here. That means the operating point is shifted from center to ohmic region, upward direction. If I increase the value, if I decrease the value of now, that VGS will be less than 1.1. That means that curve will be somewhat over here. Suppose this is over here. It is not at the center. Where is the operating point? Now, it is somewhat over here. And I can apply the input. Suppose my applied input signal is of this much amplitude. That is again, I will consider for simplicity purpose, it is of 100 millivolt peak. Okay. This is of 100 millivolt peak. Now, try to obtain the nature of output. You will observe during positive half of input that Q gets shifted to Q dash. That means it remains within its saturation region. So the obtained output, we will want to follow the input without any clipping. Right. During negative half, again, I can obtain this much. But if beyond this 100 milli, suppose I try to apply, for example, again 300 millivolts like this. Now see what will be going to happen. During positive half of input, that operating point will get shifted and transistor will be going to remain into its saturation region. So there will be no any clipping with that output. Output will follow the input with gain times like this. It will remain time varying. There will be no loss of input signal. Correct? But during negative half of input, or this much input signal, where the transistor is working, it is working into cutoff region, and hence the obtained output, it will get clip off like this. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, why the operating point it should be at the center of load line? To improve the input signal level handling capacity of that amplifier. In this case, again, it is 100 milli. You will observe right now. Because during negative half of that input, transistor gets entered into cutoff region, and hence the obtained output positive that gets clip off. That much part of input signal again it gets lost. So to avoid it, the operating point it should be at the center of load line. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So I think our time is also over. So we will stop here. And today during our practical session, the same thing we will going on to observe. I will going on to show you by using robotic simulation software. So again, I will appeal to all, don't miss that practical session also. Is it? So that it will be somewhat again clear to you how that amplifier circuit is exactly working, or what is the meaning by that operating point at the center or above the center or below the center, right? And how it affects the output signal, or how that clipping occurs towards the output side. We will want to check on the CRO both that applied input signal and obtained output signal. Is it clear? So just wait for a few seconds. I have to take your attendance